Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Pixel Ship podcast. Today is March 18th, 2014, and as always, I am joined by Joel Hartlob,
Heyo.
Ryan Blandy,
I'm better than you.
and Neil Lebo.
Hello.
And myself, Ryan Hayes, all make up the Pixel Ship. As always, we're going to talk about kind of what we were playing this week and anything that came up in the news. So, Ryan Blandy, let's start with you. What have you been playing this week?
Well, I played, of course, Team Fortress, as always.
Did you get any new sweet items?
No, I got no new sweet items.
So I still don't fully understand that. How do you get your items? Is it just completely random? Is it pretty much every game?
Well, there's random drops if you're playing, but then there's when you're playing Man vs. Machine. Specifically, the new one. You get these pieces and you put them in the kill streak kits. You make the kill streak things, and then you use them on items to make them have these kill streak properties, or like I do, you sell them for moolah.
Yeah, that's one thing I never really could get a handle of.
Thus justifying your time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you can make a couple bucks, I mean, if you don't mind sharing, like, how much can you feasibly make in a month by selling items? Like $10, $5?
Not even.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess if you look at it, you do it
if you get
every couple of months.
Good item, sure.
Yeah, but eventually, a couple bucks takes you a long way in a Steam sale. So if you can get $5 in between Steam sales, that's like 7 or 8 games.
Of course.
So when you say new Man vs. Machine, what is that? Like, I've played a couple of the maps, but do they keep rolling out new ones, or? Yeah,
there's a new one with the latest Man vs. Machine update.
When did that come out?
A couple months ago. Basically, it updated the medic, and now he has a shield, so you can use medic in Man vs. Machine. But also, there's a new tour that has 2 different maps, different enemies depending on which map you do. You have to do each map once. But there's 2 times per tour. So four times in all, but 2 maps. And you do this, and at the end of every tour, you get shit. And you use that shit like I described.
Okay.
But also, recently, I was trying Basically, I didn't have enough tickets to do Man vs. Machine mode, and I had watched all my TV shows. So then I tried Battlefield 4 multiplayer times.
Okay. Have you played any of the previous Battlefield multiplayers, or is this your foray into...
It's my foray into multiplayer times with the Battlefields.
So, having no background in Bad Company, which is probably the birth of the modern Battlefield multiplayer.
No, I don't like
Battlefield
war games. War games are...
Sure.
Too hard. And... they don't have color-coded people that you can shoot at.
Fair enough.
So I'm there, walking around. I'm just waltzing, trying to take in the atmosphere.
It is a pretty-looking game. There is a lot of atmosphere.
I get shot all time. No matter what I'm doing, I look on the leaderboards. My kill-to-death ratio, which is apparently important, I've got 3 kills, 23 deaths.
Now there are support classes, though. You don't have to.
Understand.
You don't have to kill everything. Like, aren't there medics and resupplies and support?
Yeah, there's like medics, but you have to freaking level yourself up in the assault class to be able to get to the medic stuff.
Now, Battlefield 3, I got tons of experience just by reviving people and dropping healing crates and stuff like that. Has all that stuff been removed from 4?
No, you can get that stuff if you play enough.
Honestly, though, a game like that, when you first start playing it, you're gonna suck no matter what.
Sure, absolutely.
Those big, massive.
But the thing is, I do not suck at the Team Fortress.
Yeah, but you've been playing that since the beginning of time.
And you
sucked a lot in the beginning.
Listen, the point is, I go on this freaking war game times, and it's like, hey, what's this dude? You can't even see if he's a part of your team or not until you get closer to him, and when you get closer to him, you're dead!
Well, I mean, I think that's going to be the case with most modern games. It's not as color-coded as Team Fortress.
I
But-
tried to get into a tank, and I'm driving, and I can't shoot the big gun. And then some douchebag comes in, and he's shooting the big gun, and I'm just ramming into walls.
So I take it you are not sold on the Battlefield 4.
No!
Did you play through the campaign at all, or was it just kind of the little bit
No,
that we played when I was
played
over there?
through the campaign.
Yeah.
When
So you
came
just have
over,
absolutely no
that's
interest.
all I saw. I didn't do any campaign jazz.
I think the campaign does a decent job of kind of prepping you for those games, at least as far as the control and what the different items do. They kind of walk you through kind of
I like
basic
to be-
strategies.
I like to be in another world,
Sure.
not my own. If I wanted to stay in my own world and shoot the guns, I'd go to the military times and do that jazz up.
Now, do you have any interest in a game like Killzone? I mean, it is still a military shooter, but the Hellgast and whatever people are called.
I have tried Killzone 3.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a fan.
Okay. I just figure that's a little bit, a little bit more whimsical is a bad word, but non-realistic.
Whimsical is a great word.
There's no, like, bunnies
But
and
you
rainbows.
You liked Halo,
I like Halo.
Halo's good.
and you liked what other shooter did you like?
I'm usually okay with shooters. Borderlands 2, I love the shit out of that.
No, but
Basically-
it was a first-person wartime shooter. I can't remember what it was.
You seem to like shooters that don't involve you dying with one shot.
I don't like dying.
Yeah, but we used to play Shotgun Fun on
Shotgun
Halo
Fun.
all the time, and that was one shot, one kill.
What about Unreal Tournament? Did you
For
ever
those
get
of
into
you
Unreal
that
Tournament
don't
games?
know what Shotgun Fun is,
I don't know what Shotgun Fun is.
you get a Halo game going with your friends,
Yeah.
and you make the shotgun the only weapon.
Okay.
Yeah, and you take the shields off too.
Yes.
You take
Okay.
the shields off, you make the shotgun your only weapon.
So kind of like License to Kill in GoldenEye, like everyone's just super
Yeah,
squishy.
sorta. Yeah, man with the golden gun.
Yeah.
One hit,
Kinda
one
thing.
kill.
Yeah, sorta. But you won't kill somebody by like meleeing them
Oh, okay. So you pretty much have to make contact with the shotgun.
with the shotgun, right?
Huh.
It's a lot of fun. Anywho, so we played that for I don't know days.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
I was very
groups of
surprised
4 hours.
that Ryan, we were playing Loadout for a little bit, and Ryan doesn't really
couldn't
enjoy
get
the Loadout. That just seems so close to kind of your cup of tea. Like you're
I
not
don't
very
get-
squishy. Like it's kind of wacky. I guess it is difficult to kind of determine who is who.
I liked it. I like Loadout.
I think
Yes,
Loadout's a lot of fun. It's that kind of good weird. I think the like models are pretty good. The level design's pretty good. For a free-to-play game, I'm very pleased, and it doesn't seem like they're kind of raking you over the coals for cash. Everything seems to be cosmetic that actually would cost you
Yeah.
money.
For the most part,
That's not a sustainable business model.
I mean, I would say Team Fortress has been doing it pretty well. Not that
Yeah,
Valve
but
needs
no, they
money.
have actual usable items that you can buy though.
Okay. I mean, you can buy kits to get the unlock and XP points and stuff like that. Like you can pay money to unlock things, but it's not as deliberate. Like you can't, I guess, find an item that you want and shell out $30 for it.
You can or you cannot.
You cannot in Loadout.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think overall that was fun. Would you play anything else other than your Team Fortress and your Battlefield? Anything that did not involve shooting people in the face?
It's a good question.
Nothing casual, nothing on a Game Boy or a PSP or anything like that?
I mean, as always, I'm still going through Persona 4, but
Okay.
that's neither. We've already talked about Persona 4 at length.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, that game is absolutely a work in progress.
Oh, I've played Disney Infinity a little this week too.
Okay, what'd you think of Disney Infinity?
What? I like it. I bought everything.
But you're a big Spyro, or not Spyro, Skylanders.
Skylanders fan, yeah.
Yeah.
Although Disney Infinity don't even pick it up if it's less than like $30.
I thought their like little level builder thing was pretty cool. I thought the concept was cool. Man, the person who came up with Skylanders and the buy your kids toys for video game characters, that man is just rolling in a pile of money.
Yeah, he's a fucking brilliant man.
And you know what? To be perfectly honest, it doesn't really seem too insidious. Like, I haven't gotten too much into it or paid too close attention, but I used to bug my parents for action figures. I don't really see a difference. They don't seem outrageously priced. They're what, like $3 to $10 a piece, depending on what you get.
They're $10 for the regular ones. They're $15, $16 for the Swap Force / Giant characters. And then there's light core ones that light up for $12.
What about the Disney Infinity? Because those are a bit more
Disney
simplistic.
Infinity is $13, no matter what.
Okay, but what
And
if
then
you're
they've got
buying them
level
on
packs that are
eBay
40.
and stuff like that? Is there any potential for a price break?
Secondary market?
Yeah.
What you're going for?
There's no secondary market. What are you talking about?
Sure, I've seen Skylanders and stuff like that at GameStops and other stores.
Oh, no, GameStop doesn't take them in trade. Little retailers will.
Okay. Oh, maybe it was at the
Just
other
Push Play.
game store, Just Push Play.
But yeah, no place that no major retailer will take them.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe $13 seems a little expensive, but I don't remember what an action figure
in inflation,
costs.
and our action figures were still $10. You know,
Yeah, I remember paying
maybe
$8 or $10.
$5.99, but
Yeah.
that's what 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think it's a cool concept though. Like I like at least for Disney Infinity, kind of the making your own levels. Like it's an attempt to get kids a bit more creative than 10-year-olds playing Call of Duty. So I think they're neat games. They're definitely not my cup of tea, but I think that it's.
If you had a child, it could be something that you would get into with them.
And that's a good point.
Yeah.
The co-op and stuff like that, I totally would. You're right. I would drop a guy on the little platform and hop in, and it's really easy to hop in, hop out if I got a phone call or something like that. Like,
Right.
It is a very accessible game. I've played with Ryan a couple of times, Skylanders, and I had a good enough time. Like,
Well, the thing is, Skylanders does that correctly. At any time, you can use whatever you want in whatever level it is. Disney Infinity, however, if you want to play the level packs, you have to use, like, hey, you want to play the Incredibles level pack? Well, that's great. Here's Mr. Incredible. Hey, if you want to play two-player on this, you need something from the Infinity Incredibles lineup to be able to play it. So
Really?
you got Captain Jack and Sully and Mr. Incredible in this thing. Would you like to play two players? Well, yes, I would. Well, there's another $13 you have to pay.
now, what if you have a Mr. Incredible and I'm 8-year-old Ryan and I want to come over to your house and play, but all I have is Mr. Incredible? Can I play two Mr. Incredibles?
That's a
yes,
good question.
you can.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's decent, because presumably you're playing this because all of your friends are playing it, so on and so forth, like the Pokemons when we were a kid. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's too egregious. It seems like that's probably more Disney protecting the sanctity of their universes, like, Mulan
It's
is never going to be
bullcrap,
in
man.
Halloween Town
Like-
or whatever.
It's a money grab.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is going towards more marketability, but I mean, they want to make money.
Yeah, they are a
I understand
business.
they want to make money, but there's too much to making money.
And
I
it's
mean, I
easier for
purposely didn't
Skylanders.
Listen, I will buy every Skylander there is to be made. However, am I buying all the Disney Infinity characters? No.
Now,
I don't know why though. Like, it would draw me more to play as Aladdin or play as like things like that. I
That
don't know.
are like childhood characters.
That are childhood
would-
characters, right? That are something that you already identify with.
Yeah, but I can't use, like, get this, all right? So they've got these characters, like Wreck-It Ralph, all right?
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph was in the game. I was like, I'm buying that crap because I love Wreck-It Ralph, all right? Wreck-It Ralph does not have a level pack. Therefore, he cannot be used in any other level pack.
So
There
what
is only a toy box mode where you can create your own levels that it can be used in. I have a problem with
that's
it.
Is
kinda
he the same
bullshit.
price as the other ones?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
Is
are
there clear
many-
marking on the packages that
About-
there's limited content?
About half the characters that they released are toy box characters.
Are they
Does it say
differentiated?
toy box character on
Yes.
the package?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So they are upfront about it, and if you're a parent, you can at least make an informed decision. Be like, well,
Right.
this
Well,
one
it's
might
an
not have as much
icon. It's an
content.
icon.
But if you're like an aunt buying a gift,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
your
Yeah,
nephew,
you're not going to know any better.
You'll just,
you're just gonna buy
look
it.
and go like, oh, my child likes Wreck-It Ralph. I will buy
Right.
that. Oh, my kid loves Rapunzel. I'm going to get that. And then they can't freaking use it unless they're in the toy box mode, which is the most useless mode in the game.
Well, I think it's cool as a little kid. I used to like making levels and
I would like
stuff
making levels
that.
too.
Yeah.
Plus, you never know, down the road they might release like a level pack for these guys.
I understand.
You would
If
hope
they
so.
Do that, fine. Then I'm ahead of the game, and I'll be glad about my purchase.
But as a
But right
parent,
now,
you're not going to
I-
buy
if-
that on speculation that they're going to make levels. You're not
Exactly.
paying that close of attention. You're just going to get it home and be like, oh, Billy can't play, the extra levels or whatever.
Yeah, and then your wife's pissed. She's like, "You got him the toy box mode."
Yeah.
What
And then
is
you get an
wrong with
argument
you?
about buying the wrong one. And
And then you get a
My
divorce.
wife's gonna
and-
beat
Yeah.
you because of
It
that.
breaks
Disney
up
is
a
ruining
marriage.
families.
Disney is ruining families.
if we have learned
families.
anything. All right. Well, anything else, or is that pretty much it?
That's what I did this week.
All right, Neil, what have you been up to this week?
Not a heavy game week per se. I did play the newest Tomb Raider. It's not that new. I guess it's a year old.
Okay,
For
that's
the
the
first
like
time?
super gritty, masochistic, watch her squirm for 6 hours game.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was enveloped in. The game is more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I really disliked the other Tomb Raiders when I was young.
Yeah, lame.
Yeah, the controls are wonky and you
Kind
just-
of
you
controls
get-
like a tank.
Yeah, and you get lost for an hour and you're swimming and you don't really understand how swimming works. I just don't like it. I didn't like it. So this new one I probably would have never played, but we were doing that game swap thing, so Ryan made me play it.
Right
So,
over.
so overall, did you enjoy? Like, what would you say is your biggest like and dislike of that game?
Of the new game?
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks like really great. The controls are much better. Still a little weird when it comes to general movement
Mm-hmm.
and interaction. It seems like the 3D model is a little off.
What did you play it on?
360.
Okay. So you didn't get to see the glory of the tress effects.
No,
No,
I
he
didn't.
doesn't even know about that. Yeah, they made these new effects where her hair has physics.
And
Guess
it was only
what?
for
I'm
like
not playing
NVIDIA
that.
video cards.
I already bought the freaking game. It's the same game, and they changed her face.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the definitive edition.
Oh,
They
I
have
forgot
new
about the
effects.
definitive edition.
Yeah, they changed her face. I don't like it.
Okay, I got a question for you, Neil. I played a little bit of it. I don't know, maybe an hour, probably about 2 hours. And just kind of curious. You've probably played it a little bit more than me. How did you feel about the tomb raiding part of the game?
He didn't get to
I
any.
didn't get into it. Yeah, I didn't get into that.
Either
yet.
did
was
I.
kinda
I don't-
dorking around.
Absolutely no part of it felt like a Tomb Raider game to me. Like
There-
no puzzles,
there
no
are
nothing.
notes. She hates going into them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It just kind of felt more like an Uncharted game than it did a Tomb Raider game.
Definitely felt
That's
like an
not a
Uncharted.
bad thing.
It felt a lot like an Uncharted game. Yeah, that's a good.
It's Uncharted.
Way to.
Laura Croft. It was great.
Right, and it's not a beginner game. I would say if you're not like incredibly up on your controller's layout, you're gonna have a bad time.
Oh, the controls aren't super easy to use.
Hmm.
Well, then there's also like a bow and arrow. Like there's some unconventional weapons in that game.
Well, yeah,
Right.
you get the bow and arrow right away.
But I mean, what I'm saying is like, and it's just a lot of your movements linked to the controls directly. Like if you're climbing or anything like that, and then they have those. I don't know what you would call it, but like a quick response thing where you have to hit
Quick time events.
quick time events. There you go.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I just don't think like I couldn't give it to Erin. I couldn't give it to, somebody that's
No.
a novice and have her play it. She would hate it.
That's the game where you just die a million times and
Right.
Yeah, and it's really
Ways.
brutal. Like, that was a big turnoff for me. Like, I don't generally shy away from violence in game, but it just seems so excessive and over the top and unnecessary. Like,
When she dies, yeah.
yeah, a lot of times it made me uncomfortable that they just kept kind of shoving it in your face. Not like, oh, you fell and broke your legs. Isn't that funny? Like, Loadout is very violent. Like, you blow off pieces of people, but it's
Right.
It's
Right.
you don't
Cartoon.
dwell on it. It's just to
Yeah.
kind of show damage. It's like battle damaged dinosaurs from Jurassic Park action figures getting back on action figures. Just kind of something cool. But this just kind of the camera zooms in. It just made me uncomfortable. It was weird.
Have you watched Conan's review of that game?
I have not. I've seen it linked a
It's
bunch of
very
times.
Hilarious and
Is this the Conan doesn't play video games, right?
right.
He doesn't.
No, I think it's like producers like sit him down and they just kind of like, here, play this, and then we're just gonna film your reactions. I've seen something else that he did.
Check it out.
All right.
It's pretty funny.
I do enjoy me some Conan O'Brien.
Right on. So, I played that, and then I played. I did Fire Up the Stick of Truth.
Okay, what did you think? of Stick of
Everyone
Truth
is
so
ranting
far?
about
yeah,
it.
you gotta play it. Everyone else
Gotta
is.
play it.
It's a water cooler.
My thoughts are no different than yours. I mean, it would get my star of approval. I spent, I don't know, less than 2 hours on it. Probably less than an hour. No, more than an hour, less than 2. Anyway, it was interesting, good, funny.
Yeah. It's kind of what you expect. It's just really well done and really clean. Like it's a quality product for the fans.
It was more well done than I thought it was going to be.
Looks great.
Looks phenomenal.
It looks like an episode. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And mind you, it's not high art. It's not super complex computer graphics, but just the feel of the game and the movement.
South Park animation.
Right, yeah, it's
Yeah.
the movement, the physics of the movement and everything. It's done really well.
I'm really curious to find. I want to find someone who doesn't really watch the show or is not really into South Park, but into video games. I want to sit them in front of that game and kind of get their impression.
I don't think that unicorn exists. So.
I feel it's like The Simpsons. Like at a certain point, like, yeah, I've fucking seen South Park. It's like, god damn it.
Or if they haven't, like, I don't know.
At least know enough about it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, for somebody that's into video games but has not seen South Park is just impossible. I
Very
think.
small. You're looking
Right.
at like maybe the arcade generation, like the generation before us, or was like, yeah, I love video games. So like, all right, play this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Like-
it's not something I'm going to sit my parents in front of because God
Yeah.
help them if they saw half the stuff in that game. But,
I did see something about like an interview where I think it was Matt Stone was saying that it's possible that they make another game down the road in the same vein.
I'd like to see him try something other than an RPG.
Mhm.
I think I think they did a really good job, and I'm not done the game yet, but I feel like you did a good job. Walk away from it.
Well, they've been doing the show for how many freaking years? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they're not often to walk away from something that's going to be a cash cow for them.
they keep threatening. Part of me wishes they kind of would move on to other projects. I mean,
Well, they have,
Has anyone seen the Book of Mormon? I guess
It
that's not
is-
No,
video game related,
but
but
they're gonna
related.
make a movie.
Yeah.
they're also coming to Philadelphia. Not to give too much away about our location, but it is the greater Philadelphia area. At least I am. And they're going to be in the city a couple months, I think. So if you guys are interested in making a little bit of a drive.
I would be. That actually would
Right.
rank highly on my list of things to do.
But Ryan, you do need to be careful. I mean, we don't want anyone to know about the top secret bunker that we're podcasting from.
It's actually the Pixel ship is on the Delaware River, sailing into the Atlantic Ocean, kind of back and forth.
Literally made of pixels.
It is literally made of pixels. It is not very sound. without anti-alias turning on, there's little gaps between the pixels, and it leaks. All right, well,
There are a lot of freaking leaks.
a lot of leaks. How about you, Joel? What have you been playing this week?
Well, I did bust out Portal 2.
All right.
So
So how far did you get?
I got about 3 hours in. I got just past the point. I mean, whatever. Spoiler alert. Where GLaDOS basically, you beat GLaDOS and the other dude turns on you,
Okay.
more or less. And I explored a little bit underneath when you fall down or whatever, but that was about it. I like the quips and stuff like GLaDOS puts out. Like, I think they're hilarious and stuff, but I just can't get into that kind of gameplay.
All right. Hey, man, the whole point was for you to give it a fair shake.
Don't
And you
get
got
me
a good
wrong.
chunk into that game. That is. There's some other stuff that comes out. There's like another character that you'll be introduced to that's really good.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're not in it at that point in the game, you're gonna
I'll
have
probably
a hard
sit
time.
down and play through it because I mean it's definitely not a bad game. It's just not my cup of tea. Like I like the physics. Like I like how if you drop down from a ledge through a portal, it'll like launch you out the other side of the portal.
Maintaining velocity.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff in there. It's just I don't like those like major puzzle heavy games, you know.
Yeah.
So
Do
And
you get motion sickness or anything? I know that's kind of a big problem for some people with those games.
no, not usually. I mean, like I said, the only time I ever really got motion sickness playing a game was from the Oculus Rift.
I think that's an extreme case.
that was resolution, I think, too. But
That could be.
I never have issues with that. I think I am a little curious to see what kind of puzzles present themselves outside of the labs. Because, like, you know, you've played through those first, like,
Mhm.
20 levels or whatever, and it's just, like, the constant puzzles, and then whenever you escape, you're just kind of running around through rubble. So I'm kind of curious as to how...
It gets a little bit more creative.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes me want to play a little bit more, just to see what they did with that. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's definitely it's a good game and it's smooth. I think the only like real complaint I have about it is like the loading screens. There's like loading screens everywhere.
You played it on the PC?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unavoidable. I mean, the only way you get away with that is like through an SSD. But I agree. There's kind of some very short stints, and you have to realize a lot of it too is like when you're kind of falling through big open areas or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's loading a lot. You actually have a lot more freedom than you realize, but yeah, you load kind of every 5 or 10 minutes in some of those levels.
I think that was the only complaint I had. But just, I mean, a good game, just not my cup of tea.
Well, I appreciate you giving it a fair shake.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else that you got to play this week?
I played some more Diablo 3, and I played a lot of Dark Souls.
Okay, the original Dark Souls
Yeah.
for
Prepare to Die
PC, Xbox.
Prepare to Die Edition for PC.
All right, how you liking that?
It's a good game, but it is so infuriating.
Yeah.
Like the gargoyles that you fight.
Yep.
Okay. You know, not too bad. Except for the fact that I probably spent like 2 hours the one day just trying to beat them without summoning anybody.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do it without summoning anybody, and you just had to you had the right circumstances had to come up to be able to beat them.
Now, do you grind at all? Like, what level were you when you got to them?
I was under 20.
Okay.
Like, my character's 20 now, and I'm on like the third boss, I guess. And once again, very infuriated. Just that one, just because of the stupid fucking dogs.
Anything that's quick in that game is unbelievably annoying because you're preoccupied with something that's kind of slow and you're kind of doing your methodical, circle strafing or whatever, and then this dog comes up and bites you in the ass and takes away half your health and you drop your defense and then you get stabbed in the face and then you throw your controller across the room.
Well, I'll be honest too. Like, the only reason I haven't beaten that boss yet, I think, is because I didn't kindle the one bonfire I was using.
Okay.
And I actually would have beaten him, but I ran out of the flask.
Oh, the Estus, yeah.
Yeah, only had 5 of the flask and instead of the 10 from kindling, and like I probably would have beaten him that time, and I haven't gotten to that point since that time. We're talking like 10, 15 tries.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That game is punishing. You cannot make a mistake.
it is punishing. It's definitely a specific mindset. Like, when I first started playing that game, I could not play it. Like, I just could not focus, could not sit down. And then once you get into the mindset of, like, all right, a little bit of progress is a lot of progress in this game. You know, like, I'm going to spend an hour on this kind of one thing and just kind of slowly work my way up. And it's that idea of try again. Do a little bit of grinding, go back. Do a little bit of grinding, go back. It's just a different type of game. I think that's kind of a lot of the appeal too. It is so unlike everything else that comes out, where it's just kind of, hey, we're going to hold your hand. Hey, here's a tooltip that comes up on the screen and shows you how to do this. Or, hey, you want us to lower the difficulty? Like, Demon Souls just kind of spits in your eye, and if you want to make it harder, then you do a naked run. Like, it is there to be mastered and nothing else.
Like like I said, it's a good game, and I know it's huge. Like, it's a gigantic freaking game.
It is. It is daunting. I've seen enough of it where I'm like, I'm nowhere near even a third of the way through that game.
I do like that it doesn't hold your hand, but I also don't like sometimes when you have no fucking clue where you're supposed to go. I hate that part. I remember when I first started playing that game, I went down into the one underground city. It was like a ruined city, and there's like ghosts down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea. I had no idea where I was supposed to go. I mean, this guy's telling me I need to go do this or that or whatever, and I guess that's like the only hint you ever get in the game.
Go ring a bell, you know.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Okay, cool. And you're like, well, let me go find these bells, and I'm like exploring the city, and here come these ghosts, and I have no way of hurting them because they're ghosts, and I die a lot. Until I figure out that, oh, there's a cliff I need to scale or something like that.
So I feel like it exists in this weird place. Like, I never got into Demon Souls, the first one for the PS3, but that game kind of came out in an era where this community sprung up instantly around it, and part of the game is the community and kind of discovering things together and shortcuts and things like that. Mm-hmm. But if you remove yourself from that, it feels like playing, you know, The Legend of Zelda for the first time. Like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing here. Like, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm supposed to be accomplishing. Like, I found this cave. I don't know, you know, am I supposed to clear it out? Is there a boss at the end? Like, you don't know what's happening without some explanation. Like you said, it doesn't hold your hand at all. It doesn't give you any insight into kind of what's around the next corner. And that builds some of the suspense. That kind of builds kind of some of the, okay, almost survival horror nature of it, of when I go in this room, something's going to kill me.
Yep. And then, like, I think my favorite part is, like, when you have, like, the ghosts of other players running around.
Yeah.
You know, like, they'll just pop up every once in a while, and you're, like, walking down a hallway, and, you know, it's, like, a place you haven't been yet, and one of those ghosts runs by from behind you, and you just freak out, because, like,
you think it's an enemy, or...
Yeah. It's like, holy shit, no. Oh, thank God. I don't know. It's a really good game. It is frustratingly hard, but I do enjoy it on some level. Like, it feels great when you finally beat that boss that you just spent 2 hours.
Oh God! Oh my gosh! Yeah, like the moments like that don't exist in video games very often anymore. Of just sheer satisfaction with yourself. You're like, oh my God, I finally did it. I didn't put the controller down. I told myself one more time, and I did it 8 more times, but I finally beat it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's, like, I also sometimes fear that maybe I'm just terrible at the game, and that's why.
No, everyone's terrible at that fucking game.
Yeah.
There is no one that's good at it who has not played it for, like, 20 hours.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's been a while since I got that frustrated to the point where I really was, like, you know, you get that moment when you're playing a game and you, like, start to, like, kind of twist your controller a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
the grip tightens.
Yeah, like, what you want to do with it. It's been a while since I had that kind of frustration from a game that wasn't a sports game, so...
I'm excited for a game like that just because of the way I play through games is I'll play a game for a couple hours and never come back to it. Dark Souls is one of those games I'm always going to be kind of in the mood to play until I don't want to play it anymore. Like, I will gladly jump into that game for 30 minutes to an hour at a time, play a little bit, get a little bit further, and then come back to it. Because the controls aren't hard kind of once you know what you're doing. Like, it's not hard to pick up and play once you're used to the world and used to the way the game plays.
Mm-hmm.
I see myself playing that through to completion over the course of, like, 2 years.
Well, let's see, I put in like 5 hours over the weekend just in that game, and most of it was fighting those freaking gargoyles. So,
Yeah. Excellent. Anything else you play this week?
not that I can think of. It was pretty much just those two.
Alright.
There's
Well,
3.
this week I received a package in the mail because Ryan often makes poor decisions, and one day Ryan decided to buy himself a copy of DJ Hero Renegade Edition. And we've seen it in the game store every once in a while. I'm like, oh man, I really want that. I really want that. I preface this by saying I am a sucker for peripherals. Like, when video games have little plastic toys that are required for playing it, I'm already fucking sold on the product. Like, there's something about that brings out, like, the 6-year-old, like, I want that thing. I want to play the video game that I have to use that thing. I also am not in any place to get an arcade cabinet or anything in my apartment, so it's having a physical object kind of helps me with that arcade. But yeah, playing quite a bit of DJ Hero this week, and I have to say I am a fan.
It's good?
It's surprisingly good. If you like kind of Guitar Hero and rhythm games and Rock Band and those Taito Drum Master like timpani games and stuff like that, it is, to me, it's the best example of patting your head and rubbing your stomach rhythm game. The way that's set up is you kind of have this crossfader, and then you have 3 buttons, and then you have a little effects kind of knob. And the way it kind of goes through the game, you know, okay, you gotta hold this button and scratch, and then, you know, put the crossfader to the left, and then scratch this part, and then this thing comes up, and you gotta turn the knob, but you're also gonna have to move your hand again to scratch. Like, it does a good job of making you do 2.5 things at any given time when you only have 2 hands. And the later levels kind of give you that sense of urgency. Like, Guitar Hero gets really fun when you master kind of those really fast, dexterous songs, like where you're, you know, both hands are working really, really fast, but you're completely in control at all times, other than the whammy bar, which is more or less optional. And Rock Band, other than the drums, you're pretty much kind of dealing with this one thing. What I really, really like about DJ Hero is and mind you, this is the first time I'm playing it, so yeah, maybe it eventually will become second nature, but I feel like it kind of borders on the frantic a lot better. It always just seems almost too difficult. I've never outright failed anything yet. I'm only playing on the medium difficulty, but I've come really close sometimes and kind of pulled it out. You know, with like 2 stars or whatever. But the music is decent, you know. Harmonix has a, you know, really good team of guys that kind of pick the music for those games. You're not going to love everything, but it clearly has a little bit of something for everyone. It kind of goes from old school hip hop to techno to classic rock. There's a lot of Daft Punk. There's fucking Queen on there. Grandmaster Flash, like, it's all over the place, and it's usually 2 songs mixed together, and yeah, it's just a really enjoyable time, and I think the fact that we are so separated from the great rhythm game glut of, you know, 2000 or whenever those games were out, 2005 probably-ish, where everything was Guitar Hero and Rock Band and Donkey Konga, and, you know, all those peripherals were coming out, and it was just, you know, too much. And to be able to kind of pick this thing up for, I think I paid $30 for the Renegade Edition, which, if you don't know, it is like this ridiculous, you know, gold-plated turntable with like a case. The thing was like over $200, or it was $200 when it came out.
And how much did you pay for it?
$30.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so it was like one of those things. Like I said, I'm a sucker for peripherals anyway, and it's it's a really nice setup. If you can find one, I would say for under $50 on eBay, and there's a ton of them, and you like rhythm games, it is worth picking up. It is a really, really fun. Like I said, it's rubbing your belly and patting your head at its finest, of just kind of trying to stay on top of this stuff. Still trying to work out what the most comfortable way to play it is. It kind of gives you a platform. The Renegade Edition is like a flight case that you can put the table on. I played it on my lap for a little bit. I put it on my coffee table. Like, I haven't found the most comfortable way to do it yet, and your wrists get tired as shit playing that game, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. So I'll make you guys play it eventually. Maybe I'll bring it up because it comes in a fancy case and everything. Other than that, I've been playing a little bit of Dark Souls 2. I know Joel was just talking about Dark Souls, but I picked up a copy of Dark Souls 2, and messed around with pretty much the intro level. Probably the first hour or so, and it's just a little bit more accessible. The menus are a million times more clear. It actually kind of tells you kind of what affects what. Gives you a little kind of status bar of the damage of your weapons. The whole opening area is kind of hand-holdy and tutorial-y, to the point of you kind of walk up to these things and it's like, hit the X button to attack someone. Obviously, it's not going to be like that forever, and didn't get to play too much of it. But it's just a much cleaner game. I think it is less daunting. You don't feel as overwhelmed as I did when I first played Dark Souls. Maybe because I understand how these games work now, and it works.
I feel like that probably is a big factor.
Probably a big factor, but it was very clear that the first level is very much, here's a small room with two guys that you can totally handle. Like, go with it. Versus, you're just kind of wandering around and be like, oh shit, there's 7 guys here, and I have no idea what I'm doing yet. Like, so it's, I'm going to play a little bit more of it. It's not mine. I actually ended up picking it up for my girlfriend. But I'm going to stick with Dark Souls until I actually finish that. But she beat the regular Dark Souls, so it was more of an excuse for me to get to play Dark Souls 2 and not feel bad about it.
Gotcha. I'll be honest. The reason I started playing Dark Souls again is because I saw a bunch of streamers streaming Dark Souls 2.
It's cool. It's a cool game, man. It looks good. It's smooth. It's a little bit higher fidelity. Like I say, it just seems more accessible. And again, maybe it's because that steep learning curve isn't there. But I think that steep learning curve was still there for people going from Demon Souls to Dark Souls. Like, what I've seen of Demon Souls is it's just as cryptic and just as kind of like, I don't know, man, fucking figure it out. Here's a zone. Good luck.
Well, I mean, I don't know. From what I was watching, I saw a lot of confusion, like, right after the starting area.
Yeah.
Because then, like, it's one of those, it's like, you just have to figure it out.
Which is fine. That's what that game is. That is, oh, okay, hey, there's a monster over there. Can I take it? Nope, that was a huge mistake. Okay, just lost all my souls. Let's try this again, and I'll sneak up and get my souls back and not piss this guy off this time.
Suicide in and leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Get my souls back and leave.
Get a little bit closer, start kiting guys, run back to a bonfire. And then I also played a little bit of I already forgot the name. Mountain Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Per Joel's request, I'm probably about an hour into Mountain Blade. We kind of are all picking games, and we kind of agreed to play around 3 hours of them. Games we wouldn't normally play ourselves, and this is a game I had on Steam.
I'm telling you, you gotta play Warband, which
yeah,
I'm sure you had as well.
I didn't realize that.
It's the same game, but they added some things. I can't remember specifically. It's been a while since I played the original demo or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They added something. I can't remember exactly what they added, but they fixed bugs and stuff like that, and so it's definitely worth playing that over the original.
Okay, so, and that was kind of my impression of the hour I got into it, is that's a neat game. Like, it is dense. It looks like it was made in 1996.
Yeah.
As far as the visuals, but I don't consider that a bad thing. Like, it is clearly deep enough, and there's enough going on, and just kind of managing the different kings, and then like getting into these random conflicts. Like like I said, I'm an hour in, and I still don't kind of understand this game.
Early on, you're probably going to be running from most of the things that come towards you.
Yeah, but I felt there were a bunch of random encounters where it's like, you have one guy, they have 9 guys, and just because I'm like, I'm not going to fucking run away from this,
yeah,
I took it on, and it's not impossible. Like, you just can't be an idiot about it. Like, you just kind of have to...
That's one of those things that you can whittle it down and like take it up. I mean, once it gets to the point, like, you're probably still fighting peasants and stuff like that now, or like bandits or whatever, like whatever the lowest level enemies are.
Yeah, nothing was too... like, there's a couple guys that had armor and took kind of a while just kind of riding past them and, like...
I mean, honestly, you really need to get recruiting early and just get as many people as you can early on, because, I mean, that's your strength. Like, the whole point of that game is to mass an army, and basically you end up being a mercenary and try to sell yourself to one of the feudal lords and, you know, amass some kind of power, and then even possibly create your own kingdom and take over.
All right.
But like that kind of, like, the game takes a long time to get into. Like, I've played 60 hours of that game.
Holy shit.
I can't even remember. Like, I started over a lot, though. I tend to do that in games like that. But I think I like just started to scratch the surface of that game.
I don't know if that's a game I'm going to put 60 hours into, but I have a feeling I'm going to put more than 3 hours. I feel like once I hit the 3-hour mark, I'm like, well, I kind of want to see what happens if I do this, or maybe I'll try to like siege a city or something like that, or a village or something like that, and piss off a lord. Or it just seems like there's a lot of flexibility.
There's a lot of flexibility and a lot of depth.
It almost reminds me of real-time strategy, like maybe Civilization meets Morrowind, as far as kind of the clunkiness and to depth ratio, where it's like it's a really deep game. The gameplay is kind of wonky, but it doesn't matter because you kind of get engrossed in everything else that's going on around you. So yeah, it looks interesting. I'll install Warband and I'll give that a proper 3 hours. I only got a little bit into it this week.
Gotcha.
But yeah, other than that, just kind of a little bit of other stuff here and there. Playing some more Katamari, because I love that game.
So why not?
Yeah! You know, sometimes after a stressful day of work, all you want to do is roll up some fucking jellyfish. You know, it's a good time.
Yeah. You enjoy this game?
Katamari Damacy?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite games. Have you ever played?
I have.
It is, for some reason, a stress toy for me. Like, I can just fire up a level and kind of roll around and just have a great time.
I always thought that Fez was going to be the same kind of thing as that, just like a tension releaser. But Fez is not that way for me.
No, Fez hurts my brain.
Yeah, it does. It does to me.
It's too much stuff to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Though, on a stress releaser, not really news, but an upcoming game, I think it's called Hohokum, or Hohokum. It's a game, Hohokum, Hohokum, for the PS4, PS3. I'm really hoping it eventually comes out for the PC. Kind of that same wander around this world, you're kind of this flying snake. It's worth looking up. If you kind of like, if you're looking for kind of a stress reliever, part toy, part game, almost reminds me a little bit of Nobi Nobi Boy, a similar game by the creator of Katamari. But it looks interesting, and the art style is kind of a Beatles Yellow Submarine, kind of very bright, stark colors. That's something I'm keeping an eye on. But yeah, if that's it, we can move on to news. I have a couple things here. First is the controller for the Amazon game console is kind of got leaked. These pictures showed up. Essentially, it is kind of a cross between an Xbox and a Wii professional controller, the Wii Pro controller, kind of thing. They're talking about having a streaming set-top box, like that's, I believe, going to be announced next week or next month or something like that. Like they already pretty much came out and said that. But these pictures showed up on the 14th, basically talking about, hey, you know, this thing was created and it's got Amazon's name all over it, and they're totally probably going to be running Android OS, and basically talking it up like it's going to be an Ouya.
Goody, because that worked out well.
An Ouya, which is the Android.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not going to buy it.
No one's going to buy it.
No one's going to buy it.
Fail.
But you have to realize, if Amazon comes out with a set-top box like a Roku, right? They already have the Kindle Fire and stuff like that. And if they can get these set-top boxes in people's houses with the Amazon Prime subscription and actually have some things worth watching on Amazon Prime, and then they throw this controller in there and they have a lot of, you know, free games, it makes sense. You know, it's not for us. They are clearly not making this for gamers. This is so people can play their Angry Birds and their Flappy Birds and their whatever other birds on their big screen TVs.
They can already do that.
Will it have
Hey,
flight
what
capability?
is Flappy Birds? I heard something about that the other day.
So it's this whole thing, this short story is there was a Vietnamese developer who made a game called Flappy Birds. It somehow blew up, you know, through someone doing Let's Plays or however this game became popular and became the biggest fucking thing on the internet. It's just kind of, it's similar to, remember those games where you're this line and you're trying to go through a cave that randomly generates and you're trying not to touch the walls? It's that game with birds. A little bit of variation. And then there was talk that they were going to get sued because it looked like the pipes from Super Mario, and then Nintendo said that's not going to fucking happen. Long story short, this guy ended up taking it down, and then it became an even bigger news. And it just became this kind of internet snowball. Long story short, Vietnamese guy made a game. Everyone freaked out, like threatened his life, and he's like, you guys are all assholes. Took it off, and then everyone cried.
He took it down because he thought it was too, like, people were getting too addicted. To it. At least that's the reason he gave.
You know what?
People were playing, like, hours of this game when it was meant to be just like a 10-minute time waster.
If that guy has the balls to do that, good for him. I hope that's true. I hope he legitimately is like, you know what, this is not good for people. This is creating some fervor. He was getting legitimate death threats, like, sent to him about, like, I'll fucking kill you if you take this down, blah, 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 blah. And clearly he saw it as an evil in the world if it's making people this enraged. And you know what? He wasn't going to change the world with this game. He probably made a buck ton of money, you know, in the couple months it was out. And he's walking away from it. Good for him. I hope that he starts his own business and, you know, does his thing from here on out. But it just became this very sensationalized internet story for a long time.
But in the end, like, do they have bootleg copies of this?
Oh yeah, everyone's ripping it off, and the whole point is it's not a spectacular game. It's just another game, you know.
Oh,
it's literally like a game you would play on a graphing calculator.
Yeah, like it's this game has existed in 1,000 other incarnations, but it just blew up because of the way the internet has that kind of echo chamber effect.
Right.
You know what? To no fault of him, like, look, man, like, there's millions of games that are up-offs of other games. Like, this is in no way a slight to him. I'm just saying that this game not existing anymore is not the end of the world, and I don't think he thought so either, which is why he just took it down and moved on with his life and hoped everyone else would too. I may have for the most part until we just brought it up again.
Sorry. I was just wondering about.
No, it's
I
fine.
figured that inquiring minds might want to know.
In yet another remake news, one that I am actually excited for. I'm not going to talk about the upcoming free-to-play Roller Coaster Tycoon 4 or whatever it is, because fuck that, and I'm not giving any free-to-play games the time of day. I'm just not going to talk about it. But in actual good remake news, Gauntlet has been announced.
Yeah.
Which I'm usually not, again, super excited for remakes in general, but it's the dudes that did Magicka. And I don't know if anyone has played Magicka.
Yeah. That's a fun game.
It was basically...
I don't get it. I don't think I get that friggin' game. And
Magicka?
It pisses me off. Yeah.
It's a cool take on that kind of top-down multiplayer brawler, where you kind of had these key combos and there was party damage. It was just a really unique and clever game. The humor was pretty good.
You have to play a multiplayer to really enjoy it.
And that's why I'm excited for Gauntlet, because Gauntlet is best with 3 other friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, I have a lot of faith. It's being published by WB Games. Not a ton of information. There was like a quick trailer out on it. You can go online and check it out. But I loved Gauntlet. And the Arrowhead Studios, the guys who were making it, I got faith in them. They do decent work. So hopefully it won't be kind of just another churned out game.
$5 says it's another MMO.
No, it looks like Gauntlet. Like, there's, keys that open walls, and then there's level spawners. Like, it just looks like a shiny Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, that 3D remake in the arcade?
Gauntlet Legends, man.
Gauntlet
I love
Legends.
that game.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it just kind of looks like a shinier version of that. Like, a little darker and a little grittier, but it looks cool. I'm excited.
They made a Gauntlet Legends for consoles too, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
It was started on the N64. I remember playing that a lot in high school.
Man, maybe we should pick that up and play that one night.
That game
I
is a
agree.
lot of fun.
All right.
Ryan, you and I definitely used to play that pretty often.
Yep.
Oh, it was something I definitely played in the arcades a lot as a kid. Like, when my sister went to the ice skating rink or whatever, I would be dumping quarters into that.
I loved that game. That was one of my favorite arcade games.
It was good.
Okay, in some Me Too news, Microsoft is reportedly working on a VR headset, because now everyone has to work on a VR headset.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't even know if this is news. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. Of course they're fucking working on a VR headset. I would be surprised if Fisher-Price wasn't working on a VR headset at this
I'm
point.
sure Sony's working on one too.
Oh, they are! Yeah,
Sony
that's already been
definitely
out.
is, yeah.
And Valve is working on one, and everyone still wants the Oculus Rift because it's the only one that anyone's used. And they said it was going to be, under $300, which is a good, nice price point. So there's really no. Again, I'm not entirely sure why I brought that up. There's actually even not a lot of news on it. And then my final piece of news is Walmart is going to start offering used video game trade-ins. Which is interesting. It's just clearly
So that the
companies
crackheads can freaking steal the video games from Walmart, go outside, open them, come back in, give them back to the horrible company that they stole it from. So I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if it's a bad idea. I'm torn.
I think, if anything, the thing that's going to come out of this is the stability of the used game market. This last console generation saw that threat of, hey guys, no more used video games.
Mm-hmm.
This is just an install disc. Like, you're buying a fucking license. Go fuck yourself. But it's not. You can still buy used games. I can still buy a used PS4 game and pop it in and play it. Some of the features are locked out and stuff like that.
It's an install disc that you need to... it needs to authenticate.
But in theory, when these consoles go away in another 10 years or whatever the next cycle is going to be, I can still play Metal Gear. Like, that is always the thing that worried me, is one day I'm not going to be able to turn on my box, install a game, and play Metal Gear. Or whatever other game. So, if anything, more more companies kind of getting into this fight just means there's more of a vested interest of, well, no, you're going to go into our profit margins if you don't allow used video games. It is what it is, but
Crack whores are gonna love it.
yeah, but
See,
Why do you keep saying crack whores, though? I don't
They
understand
steal
this.
the video games from the Walmart.
but then they wouldn't open them. They would just return them.
They would just
for cash.
Yeah.
Not that anyone has ever just returned something to Walmart for cash that they didn't necessarily buy there.
Might I say, crack whores.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other news?
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
I do.
one.
All right, go ahead, Joel.
So the guy who's been behind most of the Castlevania games, like the 2D ones,
Yep.
it's
Yes.
pretty much the Symphony of the Night, Koji Igarashi.
Yep.
He is no longer with Konami.
Yep.
Which is sad news and awesome news?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, like Symphony of the Night really kind of rejuvenated them, I think. At
Oh
least
man, I love
that,
Symphony of the
that
Night.
franchise for a bit. But
Probably my favorite Castlevania.
he also had a hand in the really crappy 3D games that they put out. So
I thought you loved the
It's
crappy
kinda-
3D games that they
no,
put
no,
out
no,
recently.
no. He didn't do Lords of Shadow.
Oh,
That
he
one-
didn't. Oh, okay.
I'm talking about like the N64 ones that everyone.
They
loves
didn't make a
so
Castlevania
much.
for N64.
What's that?
They didn't make a Castlevania for
There's
N64.
a 3D Castlevania. For
No,
Yes,
they didn't.
there is.
No, there's
And
no
it's
such
terrible.
thing as a Castlevania 64 game. I don't know what you're talking about, Joel. That never
Right,
existed.
I got you.
It was all a horrible, horrible, horrible dream.
You're still trying to wake up from it. Yeah.
No, yeah,
so
that's a good point.
It's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, he didn't work on the last one. He didn't work on Lords of Shadow at all. So
Which I hear mixed things about.
I like it.
I'm sure it's a good game.
If you take it, if you don't look at it like a Castlevania game, it's not a bad game.
It can't possibly be as bad as Castlevania 2.
Castlevania 2.
The Simon's Quest or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's a Good Night for a Curse or whatever. Fuck that game.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, he didn't really have any set plans. There was talks of maybe a Kickstarter or something like that, but
I heard that he was starting his own studio.
it's a possibility as well.
Okay.
But whatever he didn't really give any specifics as to what he wanted to do, but he said he was going to stick to what he does well, and I'm assuming it's going to be a 2D Metroidvania type game because that's what he did with Symphony of the Night and all those other Game Boy Advanced and DS Castlevania games were all pretty similar to that.
Hey man, I'm more than happy to check that out. I wish him the best of luck. I think it's interesting that you're seeing this happen more and more in Japan, where it's not very common.
Right.
They still tend to have the mentality of, if not working for a company for life, that's kind of your job. Like, you are with Konami, you are with, Sony, or you are with kind of these companies, and you don't leave. So to kind of see some of the creatives kind of breaking off and kind of seeing what people are doing in the indie game space, and hopefully seeing that they could have a lot more creative control, and that it doesn't cost $100 million to make a video game, is promising. So I'm excited. That Mega Man one that's coming out looks really cool. I forget the name at the moment, but they're basically making a 2.5D Mega Man that looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, that sounds
Interesting.
pretty good.
But yeah. How about you, Blendy? What did you come across?
Oh, so get this. All right, so the Metal Gear just came out today.
Yes.
All right, Ground Zeroes. Woo woo, yeah. As we previously discussed, if you would like to go to a previous episode, viewer, and listen, we had discussed that the price point was still ridiculous, and I was just going to wait till it was used so that I can show that I'm not putting my money towards something.
Yeah, it was
But I
like
still
40
wanna play
bucks
it.
or something, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was 40 bucks or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah, but now it went down to 30. Went down to 30, and then the digital version is $20. across all platforms.
That seems reasonable.
Wait, my
Okay.
good sir. Because you thought it was reasonable, and everybody went like, early reviewers were like, you can beat this in under 2 hours, but it's still around 2 hours. And everybody's like, that's fine, whatever, $20 for 2 hours, a little bit much, but if you're getting quality...
And it's Kojima, and you know it's going to be fucking stupid crazy and incomprehensible, and you're going to have to play it 3 times to understand what the fuck is going on anyway.
Yeah. And however, now videos are showing up. You can beat the game in 18 minutes.
Okay.
18 minutes!
But that's speed running. That is going for the objective and getting out. And everything I have seen on that game is there's a lot of alternate missions and alternate history versions. There's a lot of bonus content's a bad way to put it, but it's variant content. It is, as Kojima came out and said, it is a stealth sandbox. It is, here's this area, and here's a bunch of stuff you can do in it.
I'm sorry, but I don't play Metal Gear for the additives. That's great that it is bonus stuff. I'll probably play it. However, I play Metal Gear to know what's going on in Metal Gear, even though I probably won't find out what's going on in Metal Gear.
I guarantee you
And
it is
the
not going to
story
take
is
you
what's
18
important to me,
minutes to finish the
and
first version.
Guess what? 18 minutes story? It's not going to cut it.
It's not going to take you 18 minutes the first time you play it.
18 minutes!
That's a speed run. That's like saying Castlevania is a shitty game because it's only 30 minutes long.
18 minutes. This is ridiculous.
Like,
Just don't buy it.
yeah, then don't buy it. I don't know what to tell you. That doesn't bother me.
I feel like
Does that not bother you?
Because first of all, by the time I buy it, it's going to be $20 for the physical version, right? And even if it's a 2-hour game, I still am going to want to play through it. I'm still going to want to see what it is, and I do like all the VR missions. I do like all the go in and try to steal this or clear out all the helipads or whatever it is. Like, that stuff would be interesting to me, if only to get me psyched up for the next full batshit crazy Kojima story that's coming out next year. Next year, 2015, right?
Hopefully.
That doesn't bother me. He even came out and said it would have been nice if he could have included it as kind of a prequel to, on the same box, and, whatever the powers that be decided that it needed to come out first to build a pipe or whatever it is. I think $20 is perfectly reasonable. For 2 hours of entertainment, that's fine. I don't see that as a problem.
18 minutes, man. I have a problem with it.
But I think I get what you're both saying. Like, I understand that if it was just the story, right? If there was none of this extra additive stuff and it was only 18 minutes long, yeah, I think you would have every reason to be pissed off about it. But the fact that there is this extra stuff, I'll be honest, I don't really know a whole lot about.
It's also not 18 minutes long. You are looking at the worst case scenario. If you buy that game and you beat it in 18 minutes the very first time you play it, then I will say you have a valid argument. But I will bet you, the first time you pop that game in, it is not going to take you 18 minutes to finish.
Yeah, but
I'm sure by your 5th or 6th playthrough, yeah, you can probably complete the objective because you know exactly where to go, you know where all the troops are, you can tag people, you have upgraded equipment, you have all the extra stuff. Absolutely you can finish it in 18 minutes. But that's a speed run. That doesn't mean anything.
it's not a speed run. 18 minutes.
Okay.
Good argument.
Alright. Well, does anyone have any positive news other than...
Got some negative news.
Oh, come on. I'm trying to lift the mood after that argument.
I actually got nothing. No.
I got one.
Alright.
Sort of. So you remember that game Minecraft we used to play every Thursday night?
Yes.
Yeah, it like kind of looked like shit most
It
of the
was
time.
Wednesdays.
Whatever. Apparently, like, there's this shader mod or patch,
Mhm.
one of the mods that came out, and it actually makes the game look pretty damn good.
There have always been those crazy shader mods and lighting engines and high-res texture packs, and yeah, you can make
I
it
don't know,
look
man.
fantastic.
I've not seen it look like this. Like, this is like for the lighting and the water effects.
Do you have the name
I
of
mean,
the mod? Can we give out the name of the mod?
Sonic Ether's Unbelievable Shaders mod.
Sonic Ethers, as in the
Substance, I
substance?
guess. Yeah, Ether. I don't know.
Sonic Ethers,
Unbelievable Shaders.
Unbelievable Shaders. All right, yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Like, it looks like the water. It makes the water look a lot better. It makes obviously the reflections and all that stuff. It changes the lighting. It makes it look a lot better. Like, there's like the rain leaves like puddles and stuff like that. Like,
Oh wow,
yeah.
man, I want to fire up Minecraft again.
It almost makes me.
way
It
too
almost
long.
makes me want to play a little bit of Minecraft again just to see this mod in action.
Well, maybe we'll set up a server. Nate's been talking about it.
I know Nate's gonna. Well, don't say anything, Nate, because then he won't shut up about it.
All right,
Yeah.
Nate, if you're listening to this podcast, set up the server and I'll join.
I don't support this.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the Pixel Ship podcast. Again, I'm Ryan Hayes with Joel Hartlob,
See ya.
Ryan Blandy.
As always, I am greater and better looking than you.
That is very debatable. And Neil Lebo.
Good evening.
And again, you can find us at the pixelship.net, also thepixelship.com, because I decided to buy that too. But yeah, check out our site. We're going to have some more content up there, hopefully very soon. We're kind of scrambling to find some stuff to put up. We're going to do write-ups of the games we're forcing one another to play. I'll have a little bit of something on Mountain Blade Warband as soon as I put another 2 or 3 hours into it and actually play the proper game this time. We also have a Facebook, Twitter, or drop us an email. All that stuff, again, can be found on pixelship.net. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you all next week.